If you're building blue in Lorwyn Eclipsed Limited, this is the video for you. Hi, I'm Michael from Michael the Gathering. If you've opened up a beautiful lock mare and you just really want to force blue, especially if you're playing in Pick True Draft where forcing is the name of the game, then here we go. If you're new to the channel, you liked the video, or it helped you at your pre-release or draft, leave a like and subscribe, let us know how you went, and help the channel grow. Every color in Lorwyn Eclipsed Limited has 2 supported pairings and 2 unsupported pairings. What this really means is there are 2 color pairings that are tribal based and 2 that aren't. Every color pairing has something to do. It's just a little bit harder to find them all. If you're in blue, that means you've got merfolk in blue-white and elementals in blue-red, although there are smaller synergies in the other colors. The first and probably best place to start if you're playing blue is in blue-white. Merfolk are an absolutely incredible tribe to play in this set, and a really good example of how all of the color pairs have been built. Now, every color pair comes with a pair of hybrid enablers. Not so much signpost cards, although they are a little bit. In white-blue, you get the excellent Eclipsed Merrow, a white-blue uncommon that allows you to dig for either fixing or more tribal synergies, and also the absolutely insane, probably best common of the set, Merrow Sky Swimmer, a 5-mana 2/2 flying vigilance with Convoke that also comes with 2 additional bodies, all of which are merfolk and can therefore be buffed by various tribal synergies. This is a card that is absolutely incredible. It's a huge reason to be in blue-white, especially if blue is especially open, because it's probably the better color to be playing merfolk with. If blue is open, that means you're going to be getting more copies of Silvergill Mentor, a 2-mana 2/1 that comes with an extra 1/1, assuming that you are beholding a merfolk, which should be relatively simple in this set, even if you don't have a ton of strictly merfolk in the set, given that changelings are around, like a well-designed magic set. And in the horrifying event that you are interacted with in some way, that your wonderful creatures are removed by a callous and awful opponent that just wants to stay alive, well then you can play Meander's Guide, a just fine 3-mana 3/2 that has a recurring free revival effect, allowing you to bring back your Eclipsed Merrow, giving you a 2/3 for free that also gets you a card, or your Deep Channel Duelist, or your Silvergill Mentor. All absolutely insane things to get off this perfectly fine attacking creature. WotC will tell you that the mechanic for white-blue is Convoke, and that is technically true. Certainly, if you're playing white-blue, but especially from an open blue lane, you're going to find copies of cards like Temporal Cleansing very late in the draft, which you really shouldn't, because this, as a 4-mana sorcery that tucks an opponent's creature, is just an absolutely incredible card. This, whether or not you agree with me, is removal, and the fact that it can be convoked is honestly just an enabler for cards that really just want to be tapped, as opposed to making it cost less, which is also insane. Next is one of the apparently unsupported color pairings. Blue-black is the color of fairies and flash, and it is the most supported unsupported color pairing that I have ever seen. Both of blue-black's hybrid enablers are tribally important. Mischievous Sneakling is a 2-mana 2/2 that I'm more than happy to play in blue and black, seeing as how they don't traditionally get especially good creatures, but flashing in something and trading, say, a 2-mana 2/2 with a 3-mana 3/2 is always good, and also it's a changeling, which is so much more important than you think it's going to be in this set. And at uncommon, you get Voracious Tome Skimmer, a really solid 3-mana 2/3 with flying. Now, this is more of a defensive card, but also you can just get as much card advantage as you want off this fairy, because it's going to let you draw cards for the entire rest of the game, assuming you've drafted all of the instant speed things that you could ever want. And alongside Voracious Tome Skimmer, in the Black Fairies tribal, you have Nightmare Sower. Now, this obviously isn't a fairy tribal effect, but it is sneakily. You see, WotC kind of made fairy tribal not specifically mention fairies, which is a very fey thing to do, in my opinion. This is a 4-mana 2/3 2/3 flying lifelink, this will absolutely keep you alive. It's less good at defending. A 2/3 is much more relevant in the first couple of turns than it is later, but you can also just be really aggressive with this and start trading your opponent life for life while holding up spells and putting -1/-1 counters on your opponent for just flashing in your 2-mana 2/2 that you were going to play anyway. And speaking of creatures with flash that you were going to put on the battlefield anyway, Illusion Spinners is a wonderful blue uncommon. It's 5 mana, it's a lot. It's going to realistically be at the top of your curve here, but flashing in a 4/3 at the end of your opponent's turn that has flying and cannot be interacted with until it has been tapped to start attacking is just absolutely insane. You are going to blap people over the head with this a lot, and it's going to be very, very good. You're going to maybe have space for 2 of these in your deck at most, but also this is just really, really good, assuming that you can get any other fairies to go with it. And finally, if you're drafting blue-black from a very open blue lane, a lot of blue instants are very, very good if you're playing defensive because they have Convoke. Unexpected Assistance is just a really solid card. I have historically underrated these 5-mana draw 3 discard some number, do a thing spells, but this card is very simple to see that it is very, very good. Draw 3 cards, then discard 1 card for 5 mana at instant speed. Just fantastic. Do it at the end of your opponent's turn if they haven't played anything that you need to remove or given you a reason to counterspell something. And also, if you've held up a bunch of blockers, you can play it even earlier than that. A somewhat frustrating counterpart to blue-black fairies is blue-red elementals, probably the least supported of the supported color pairings. Blue-red elementals comes with a mix of elemental specific synergies and big spell synergies, and the deck really, really wants to play both of these together. A lot of the evaluation of what makes this deck good is on the assumption that you can get at least 1 copy of the blue-red signpost uncommon Twin Flame Travelers. This is a 4-mana flying 3/3, just a really solid limited threat that has, if a triggered ability of an elemental you control triggers, it happens again. Now, considering that this is Lorwyn and we're dealing with Muldrifter type effects where it's an elemental that says when it enters draw 2 cards, you can see the potential in this thing. A lot of the cards in blue-red elementals are pretty good. They're okay, but if you get them online, and you have a Twin Flame Travelers on the board, you are going to absolutely blow people out of the water. Save your removal spells for your opponent's Twin Flame Travelers and don't play your Twin Flame Travelers until you have a protection effect to counter your opponent's removal spells. As a supported color pairing, blue-red gets Eclipsed Flamekin, a blue-red hybrid elemental for 1 that lets you go get fixing or more elemental cards, and at common, another 3-mana hybrid elemental for 1 that is a 3/2 this time with when it enters and whenever you cast a spell with mana value 4 or greater, you may discard and then draw. Flaring Cinder is going to be a bit rough to make really, really good. It's going to trade down with 2-drops a lot of the time, and it's never card advantage, but if you can actually get this going, it's going to smooth out your game plan a lot. It's just really not the top of the elemental draft game plan list. Instead, the top of the elemental draft game plan list are Soulbright Seeker, the mono-red beholden elemental creature. This is a 1-mana 2/1, great start, but also if you get to turn 3 and you have triple red, you can then start using this to accelerate, an effect that is quite rare, but also honestly quite restrictive. You're going to be having a hard time playing this in even a regular blue-red deck until later in the game, at which point you're going to start having multiples of these and having them absolutely explode, and also remembering that Trample is really, really good for ending the game. And of course, Rhymekin Recluse, a 3-mana 3/2 with when it enters, bounce a creature. This is removal. This is just straight up removal. If you disagree with me, it doesn't matter. I'm going to play this and I'm going to defeat you. And also, if I have a Twin Flame Travelers on the board and I cast a Rhymekin Recluse, I'm going to have players on Arena just straight up scoop the game immediately. Finally, if you're drafting blue-red elementals from a very open blue lane, you're probably going to get a lot of Convoke cards, which is going to make a card like Coolwrath Mystic actually very, very good. This is a 3-mana 2/4 that turns into actually quite an aggressive creature if you can enable it. Getting +2/+0 and Vigilance whenever you cast a spell with mana value 4 or greater is quite simple if you are playing Convoke spells or just generally on curve. Now, playing on curve, not a thing that blue-red is generally known for, but you are absolutely going to get there, and this is going to be a powerful blocker a lot more of the time than you think. And last but not least, arguably, blue-green is the color of Vivid. Now, Vivid is technically in all of the colors, but it is centered in blue-green. So while I'm going to be talking about blue-green as a color pair, there should be an understanding that blue-green is less of a specific enclosed color pair and much more of a home from which multicolored good stuff should be sprouting. You are absolutely going to want to play Chitinous Graspling, the 3-in-a-goo hybrid green-blue changeling with reach, but if you're picking up hybrid cards, I would actually more strongly recommend that you branch out and get a card like Noggle Robber. This is a green-red hybrid card that in your deck you would want to be playing for 1 and 2 green that gives you a 3-mana 3/3 that generates a treasure token on enters and death. This is perfect because, as previously mentioned, we're building our green-blue deck with an objective to be playing multicolored good stuff. All of your incredible multicolored rares, and just Vivid effects that are going to have an X greater than 2. Case in point, the other green-blue hybrid enabler is Glisterban, an oof, because yeah, unsupported color pairings don't get relevant tribal synergies, but this is a solid defensive 1/4 for 2 and 3 UG that at the beginning of combat on your turn hands out a minimum of +2/+2 for the turn, allowing you to get in with things like small unblockable or flying creatures. That is also going to resolve the game incredibly quickly if you resolve, say, any red-white permanent. And these big, splashy, Vivid effects are the name of the game. In blue, you get the wannabe Muldrifter, Shine Striker, a 6-mana 3/3 flyer. Again, not terrible, but also a card that has, when it enters, draw cards equal to the number of colors among permanents you control. I would love for this to be just the one, but realistically, if you can cast this as a 6-mana 3/3 flyer that draws you 3 cards, you're going to be extremely happy with yourself, and you can do that without going off your color pairing just by playing a hybrid card like Noggle Robber. If you're having trouble ending the game, Prisma Basher is a 6-mana 6/6 trample, and also when it enters, it gives X creatures +X+X. So again, we really look at how exciting this is when we get to 3 and above. So giving, say, +9/+9 to your board is pretty incredible to then also have a 6/6 to finish your opponent off afterwards. Even if between this and Shine Striker, you're going to start running out of high mana value slots in your deck pretty quickly. You're going to really, really want to make sure that you are getting all of the fixing that you need for this deck and just desperately clinging on to life as the Merfolk and Kithkin players beat you to death in the first few turns. That's all for blue. I hope this video helped you get the knowledge you need to win with the awesome cards that you've opened up. Once again, if you enjoyed the video, like the video. Subscribe to get a new video every day and catch all the colors of Lorwyn Eclipsed for the rest of this week, and I'll see you tomorrow for black.